In 2024, I picked up 63 new coaster credits, which are ones that I personally rode for the first time, regardless of when they originally opened. It brings my total credit count up to 708. All 63 new ones were in the United States, and at this point, it does take very careful planning to pick up a significant number of new credits like 63 when I didn't leave the country. Most of those came on my trips to the Chicago region, then on my long trip to the Northeast. Of those 63 on the year, 11 were SBF spinners, which keep popping up all over the place. Also, 10 were alpine coasters, which I know that some people don't count. If you don't, then feel free to subtract 10 from my total in your minds. Even though I do count them, I will not include them in this list for the sake of comparing apples to apples. However, there are 3 that would have made the top 12 on this list. The one at Berkshire East in Massachusetts is long and has a great layout. Then the one at Cranmore in New Hampshire gave me a great experience with unlimited rides for 3 hours. And my new favorite of the genre, the longest coaster in the country, Cliffside Coaster in Lake Placid, New York. 2 notable coasters that didn't make these rankings are the new Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City and Good Gravy at Holiday World. I never thought much of Fire in the Hole before, and while the new version has updated animatronics, the drops are forceless. And while Good Gravy has good theming, it felt like a total nothing ride, as it truly feels like you're sitting still the entire time. There's nothing bad about these, but they just don't do anything. My number 20 new credit of the year is Phoenix Rising, the new for 2024 B&M invert at Busch Gardens, Tampa. It is a good layout, but it would rank so much higher if it were not a rough ride. That's the only thing that makes this my least favorite family invert with a lap bar. Next up are 3 family coasters that are good for what they are, but nothing too noteworthy. Sea Viper at Palace Playland in Maine, then Super Cyclone at the Santa's Village in Illinois actually does have some good airtime. Then Sylvan Beach's SDC Galaxy also provides some airtime in the back. Number 16 is the Kid Flash coasters at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. I actually got 7 rides on these, 3 on one side, 4 on the other, during the very brief time that they operated. It is quite sad to see what has happened to these within a year of operation because they were good rides. The racing added so much, and you may even get a little airtime on the drop. Number 15 is Merlin's Mayhem, the S&S family invert at Dutch Wonderland. This has an interesting layout and has some good theming and rides quite smooth. It's up there with the mid-tier Vekoma family inverts. Number 14 is Midnight Flyer, the new for 2024 Vekoma family coaster at the Santa's Village in New Hampshire. I don't know what it is about these that I find so enjoyable. As the next up on my list, at number 13 is Rookie Racer, the Vekoma family coaster at Six Flags St. Louis. These are not clones, and I felt like Rookie Racer had a better layout, and I liked the theme and on-ride audio. On both, you may get a little airtime on the drop in the back row. These far exceeded my expectations. Number 12 is Penguin Trek, the new for 2024 B&M family launch coaster at SeaWorld Orlando. This one also has a rattle, as rough B&Ms seem to be the new normal. However, this has a good layout, has a great dark ride segment with some nice theming, and the launches have a little kick. Number 11 is Kingdom Coaster, the original CCI Woody, at Dutch Wonderland. Even though it's a family coaster, it provides some good airtime and it rides very smooth. Number 10 is Tiger Terror, the Wisdom Junior Coaster at Safariland in Illinois. By far the best junior coaster I've ridden, as it has crazy laterals after the drop and has a good airtime hill. The ride has theming and it is janky in the best possible way. It is crazy that a junior coaster can be this good. Number 9 is Roar-O-Saurus, the Gravity Group Family Woody at Storyland in New Hampshire. This one was a little disappointing, as it did ride quite rough, and it gave me a headache after just one ride. The airtime was not comfortable, but it was quite strong for a family coaster. If this could get smoothed out, it would probably be the best of these family Woodies. I also think that issues with the park itself negatively influenced my feelings about the ride. Number 8 is Yankee Cannonball, the PTC Woody at Canobie Lake Park. I didn't foresee liking this more than Roar-O-Saurus, but Yankee Cannonball gave me solid floater airtime in the front, and it rode so incredibly smooth. I expected a nothing ride, but it far exceeded my expectations. Number 7 is also at Canobie Lake Park. It is Untamed, the Gerstlauer Eurofighter. It also exceeded my expectations, as it rode quite smooth, didn't give me headbanging, and was very forceful during the short ride. Number 6 is Phobia Fear Coaster, the premier Skyrocket 2 at Lake Compounce, which I missed out on during my first visit in 2019. This is a clone, but it has only lap bars, which makes it the best one of these that I've done. I loved it, but this ride does not warrant a massive stampede of guests rushing to it when the rope dropped. The next 4 are all huge surprises. I expected to like them all, but they all were dramatically better than I thought they would be. First up at number 5 is Bobcat, the new for 2024 Gravity Group Family Woody at Six Flags Great Escape, my new favorite of these Family Woodies. Their new track has this one riding so smooth. The presentation is great, and it has an excellent layout with solid airtime that is all quite enjoyable. Gravity Group hit this one out of the park. Number 4 is Silver Comet, the CCI Woody at Niagara Amusement Park. This ride's quite smooth, has very good airtime, and has a solid layout. This is a hidden gem that I never hear anybody talk about, and I wish I could have found room for it in my top 100, but it barely missed out. My number 3 is Tornado at Stricker's Grove outside of Cincinnati, my 700th coaster credit. Maybe my biggest surprise of all. This is mostly about those 2 world-class elements. The mid-ride ejector death drop, which hits best in the back row, providing one of the strongest and wildest airtime moments on any coaster in the country. And the speed hill that follows it gives powerful airtime in every row. If other elements of the ride delivered, we could be looking at a top 25 coaster, but those 2 elements hold this ride up quite a bit. Plus, this park has such a great atmosphere, but it's only open to the public a few days a year. Number 2 is Excalibur, the CCI Woody at Funtown Splashtown USA in Maine. One of the best CCIs there is, and for my money, I thought it was even better than Boulder Dash. Excalibur has a great mix of airtime and laterals, an interesting layout, and it has a great setting going off into the woods. It rides reasonably smooth, and it's overall such a fun ride. And my favorite new credit on the year was no surprise at all. It is Wildcat's Revenge, the RMC hybrid at Hershey Park. Even though I thought the original Wildcat was not rough at all and had good airtime, there's no denying that the RMC conversion made for an even better ride. It provides some strong airtime, laterals, and good inversions, and it's maybe the only ride at this park that has fast operations. It did feel like it was lacking something to make it an elite RMC, but even a mid-tier RMC is an elite coaster, and it became my new favorite in the park. The dueling that takes place when the operations are moving very fast does add to the ride. I think this coaster has been quite overrated in some circles of our community. However, it is great enough to be my only new credit of the year to make my top 50. Where does it land there? Well, I'll be doing that video later on in the winter. So please leave a comment about what your favorite new coaster credits are that you picked up in 2024. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.